If I, Elon Musk, go broke, will my wife still stand by me? They say in hidden monasteries of the East, there are scrolls never read by the common man. On one such scroll a line was written, "True love is not measured in gold, but in whether the flame still burns when the lamp runs out of oil." Tonight, I open such a scroll before you. Listen, and you shall understand the mysteries of fate, the timing of destiny, and why the heart of a woman holds the compass of eternity. In the beginning, before words were born, before names were given to mountains or rivers, there existed only silence, a silence that knew everything, and yet revealed only to those who listened. From that silence arose the compass hidden in the feminine heart intuition. It is not written on paper, nor taught in schools. It is the soft voice beneath thought, the trembling of the soul when destiny passes by in human form. Men have sought gold inventions, empires, and stars, yet the greatest guiding system has always rested quietly in the heart of woman. When the storm rises in a man's life, when his empire crumbles or his name is forgotten, it is not logic that will decide whether love remains. It is her intuition, silent, unseen, yet sharper than any sword. Like the needle of a compass always finding north, the feminine heart finds truth beyond appearances. She knows if the smile is forced, if the words are hollow, if the hands are strong but the spirit wary, and when she chooses to trust this compass, she becomes a bridge between chaos and clarity, between downfall and resurrection. There is an old parable whispered among mountain monks. A traveler once came to a forest where three paths diverged. One was wide and paved with stones of gold, another narrow but lined with flowers, and the last rough, covered with thorns and shadows. The traveler stood in confusion until a bird descended and sang a tune. Without knowing why, he followed the thorn path. Days later, when storms came, the golden road flooded, the flower road was consumed by fire, but the thorned path led him safely beyond the mountain. The monk who told the tale concluded with a smile. The mind sees wealth and beauty, but the heart's compass sees survival. So it is with love. A woman's intuition is often dismissed, even by herself, because it does not shout, it whispers. Yet, when she ignores it, she feels the cost deeply. The relationship that glittered on the outside turns to dust. The promises that sounded sweet become bitter. But when she listens, truly listens, she senses not only who a man is in the moment, but who he is becoming. She can stand by him when the world mocks him, because she sees the oak within the acorn, the light within the shadow, the greatness hidden in the failure. In daily life, this can be seen in the simplest ways. A mother knows the cry of her child even among 100 voices. She feels when her loved one is in pain, even without a phone call. She notices the small silence in his tone, the flicker in his eyes, the way his spirit bends, though his shoulders remain straight. This is not superstition. It is a refined awareness that modern minds have dulled but not destroyed. It is a river flowing beneath the ground, waiting for those who know how to dig. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The soul has its own eyes with which it sees things invisible." What he meant is what sages and monks have long taught, logic is useful for counting coins and building ships. But it is the soul's perception that reveals destiny. The feminine heart, when trusted, becomes a lighthouse in the storm, yet intuition alone is not enough. There are times when the heavens themselves open, moments in time that act as secret gates, windows through which destiny whispers louder. These are the sacred windows of time, and they move like the tides of the ocean, hidden yet precise. Just as the moon does not rise randomly, so too these portals of love and testing appear with rhythm. Between the 9th and the 12th day of a cycle, whether of the moon or of the month, hearts soften. Forgiveness becomes possible, even for wounds thought permanent. Lovers who have turned cold may suddenly find tears flowing, apologies rising, tenderness returning. It is as if the river of compassion swells during these days, washing away the debris that blocked its course. To speak words of healing during this window is to plant seeds in fertile soil. But on the 17th, shadows gather, old fears, doubts, and illusions reappear like ghosts knocking on the door. A woman may suddenly doubt the man she trusted, or he may retreat into silence, pulling away without reason. These are not accidents, they are cosmic examinations. Just as a blacksmith places iron into fire to test its strength, so too destiny tests whether love is real or only an echo of desire. Those who abandon ship on the 17th do not fail, they simply reveal that their bond was not yet tempered. But those who endure, who hold steady, when shadows whisper, find their bond stronger than ever. Then comes the 21st, the day of reunion, of return. It is the crest of the wave after its retreat. Many who felt distance suddenly feel closeness again. Lovers who were lost return, sometimes in unexpected ways. The 21st shines like the sunrise after the storm, reminding the heart that separation was never the end, only preparation for reunion. There is a Zen story of a fisherman who cast his net every day, but found it empty. On the 9th day, he noticed the water becoming calmer. Fish began to gather. By the 12th, his net overflowed. But on the 17th, a storm arose, tearing his net and leaving him with nothing. Yet he did not despair. He mended the net, kept faith, and on the 21st day, the waters became clear again, and the fish returned in greater abundance than before. The old monk who told his tale ended with the words, "The river is faithful, but it has its rhythms. He who knows the rhythm never despairs." In our own lives, we can see this rhythm mirrored. A couple may argue bitterly, then find reconciliation days later as if a veil has lifted. A man may feel rejected by silence, only to discover later that the silence was not absence but a cocoon of transformation. A woman may feel abandoned, only to realize that destiny was aligning circumstances for reunion. When one begins to notice these patterns, the softening days, the testing days, the reunion days, life no longer feels chaotic. Instead, it becomes a dance with divine timing. The ancient Chinese sage Zhuangzi once wrote, "The perfect man employs his mind as a mirror. It grasps nothing, it refuses nothing, it receives but does not keep." These sacred windows are like mirrors. They do not create love, nor destroy it, but reveal what is already there. On the soft days, you see the tenderness. On the shadow days, you see the cracks. On the reunion days, you see the wholeness. To walk this path with awareness is to step out of blind reaction and into sacred alignment. The transition from intuition to sacred timing is natural. For what is intuition if not the compass? And what are these windows if not the map? The compass tells you where the truth lies. The map reveals when the journey must be taken. A woman who marries these two, her inner compass and the sacred timing, walks not in fear but in faith. She knows when to speak and when to remain silent, when to stay and when to let go, when to embrace and when to wait. Her love no longer clings anxiously. It breathes with the rhythm of the universe itself. Imagine a river flowing between mountains. Intuition is the sense of which direction the water will turn. Sacred timing is the knowledge of when the tide will rise. To walk beside this river with awareness is to live in harmony with destiny itself. Thus the scroll reveals, do not fear the shadows of delay, nor rush the rivers of closeness. Listen to your compass, honor the windows. For the heart that knows when and how to move cannot be shaken by storms. And in this, the question finds its answer. If the empire falls, if wealth turns to dust, if names are forgotten, will love endure? The answer lies not in fortune, but in whether the woman's heart trusted her compass, whether she walked with sacred timing. If she did, her love will not only endure, it will become the very lamp that lights his way back from darkness. Do not use headings or labels. Let the speech unfold like a sacred scroll being read aloud. There are women who pass like gentle breezes felt for a moment and then forgotten, and there are women whose presence lingers like incense in a temple. Subtle, invisible, yet unforgettable. This mystery cannot be explained by beauty alone, nor by wealth, nor even by charm. It is the essence of energy, the fragrance of the soul, that makes one woman unforgettable to the heart of a man. When she stands in her stillness, not trying to be chosen, not reaching to impress, but simply radiating the truth of who she is, something in him knows. This is not ordinary. This is eternal. The sages have said a flower does not chase the bee, yet the bee always finds it. The chosen feminine energy is like this flower. She does not need to prove her worth. She only needs to remain in her fragrance, and those destined for her will arrive even across oceans of time. There is a parable of two candles told in a quiet monastery. One candle burned brightly, shouting with flame, drawing attention by its flicker. The other burned with steady light, silent, unwavering. When the wind came, the first candle sputtered out, the second endured. "Why?" asked the disciple. The master replied, "Because the steady flame burned from its core, while the other sought to be seen. The woman who burns from her core, who trusts her stillness, becomes unforgettable, not because she clings, but because she embodies something that no storm can extinguish. In daily life, this truth is visible. Think of the teacher who once touched your heart with kindness. Years pass, yet her words remain. Or the friend who, without trying, made you feel safe in silence. We forget many names, many faces, but we never forget the one who touched our spirit beyond appearances. The chosen feminine energy is like that. Not an effort, but a presence. The mystic poet Hafez once whispered, "I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness the astonishing light of your own being." This is the secret tea. The unforgettable woman does not chase validation outside. She rests in her light within. A man may encounter countless others, but her presence marks him like fire upon iron. Even if time separates them, the memory of her essence remains. Yet life is not only about presence, it is also about rhythm. Just as the seasons change, so do the cycles of closeness, distance, and reunion in love. Many believe that distance is the death of love, yet it is simply its breathing. The universe inhales and exhales, rivers rise and fall, the moon waxes and wanes. Why should love not also move in rhythm? There is a story from the Zen tradition. A student asked his master, "Why does the one I love draw close, then retreat?" The master poured tea into a cup until it overflowed. Then he stopped and waited. The tea settled, the steam rose, and the fragrance spread. He said, "If closeness were endless, the cup would break. Distance creates space for love to be tasted." In that silence, the student understood. In nature, we see this law everywhere. The tide kisses the shore, then withdraws into the ocean's depth, only to return again with greater force. Birds migrate, leaving lands barren, yet they return in season, filling the skies once more. Even the breath that sustains us follows this rhythm. Inhale, exhale, pause, return. So too, the cycles of love. A woman who fears the pause may grasp desperately, trying to hold the tide still, but this breaks the natural flow. A woman who trusts the rhythm remains calm, knowing that distance is only the preparation for reunion. How many couples have panicked during silence, only to discover later that the space allowed the heart to remember what truly matters? How many friendships grew stronger after time apart, each person returning with new stories, new strength? When one accepts that distance is not abandonment, but rhythm, one no longer clings anxiously, one allows love to breathe. The philosopher Lao Tzu once wrote, "Stay at the center of the circle and let all things take their course." This teaching is vital for relationships. If one remains centered, not chasing when distance comes, nor suffocating when closeness arrives, then love flows naturally through its cycles. To fight the rhythm is to exhaust oneself. To align with it is to rest and trust. And so the two truths meet: the chosen feminine energy, unforgettable in stillness, and the rhythm of love, flowing in closeness and distance. Together they reveal a secret: the woman who knows her essence and trusts the rhythm never fears loss. She knows that if a man departs, it is either so he may return deeper, or so that space may be cleared for the one truly written by destiny. She does not cling to appearances, she trusts the river beneath the surface. Picture a mountain and a river flowing at its base. The mountain is her essence, steady, grounded, immovable. The river is the cycle of love, sometimes near, sometimes far, yet always returning. The man who stands before such a mountain knows he is in the presence of something eternal. He may wander, he may test, but the memory of her mountain, like stillness, will always call him back, for such presence cannot be forgotten. In this way, the scroll continues to whisper, "Do not strive to be remembered by force, embody the energy that cannot be erased. Do not cling in fear when distance comes. Trust that the tide will return, for love is not a straight line, it is a circle, an eternal dance of presence, absence, and reunion. Those who fear the circle suffer, those who trust it walk in peace." Thus the chosen energy and the universal rhythm form a sacred teaching: be the light that endures, not the flame that shouts. Be the mountain that remains, not the cloud that chases. And when the tide withdraws, sit in stillness by the shore, for it will return, carrying more than it took. The scroll closes this portion with a final whisper from an ancient desert mystic. What is meant for you cannot run from you, though it circles the earth. What is not meant for you will slip even from your closed fist. And so the woman who knows her fragrance and who trusts the rhythm of love will never lose what is hers in eternity. There are moments in the journey of love when the path seems clear, the river calm, and the horizon open. Yet there are also moments when shadows rise, when doors close, when silence replaces words, and rejection wears its heavy mask. It is here, in the valleys of delay, the heart is most tempted to despair. Many believe that rejection is a final verdict, that delay is denial, but the wise know differently. What appears as rejection is often a hidden test. What feels like delay is often a sacred preparation. The blacksmith knows this truth well. To make the blade strong, he must place the metal into the fire, then withdraw it, then strike it, then return again to the flame. Each cycle is painful to the iron, but without it, there would be no strength, no edge, no purpose. So too in love, the fire of rejection, the pause of delay, are not punishments but refinements, shaping the soul to fit with another in harmony. A monk once told a parable of two seeds. Both were planted in the same soil, under the same sun. One sprouted quickly, rejoiced in its speed, and mocked the other. The second seed remained buried, pressed down by darkness, and appeared lifeless. Yet months later, when storms came, the quick seed withered, while the seed that endured delay had grown deep roots and emerged as a mighty tree. The master whispered, "Delay is not death. It is the root's secret work." So too with relationships. A woman may feel rejected by silence, or a man may feel forgotten in absence. Yet sometimes the silence is the soil, preparing roots unseen. A delay in union may mean the heart is not yet ready, the wounds not yet healed, the path not yet cleared. To force union before its time is like forcing a fruit to ripen in winter. It will be bitter. But to trust the timing, even in delay, is to receive sweetness when the season comes. In daily life, this can be seen in countless ways. The artist who faces rejection after rejection, only to later realize that each no sharpened his vision until he created the masterpiece that endured. The student who failed the exam, only to discover that the failure led him to a truer path. The lovers who separated, not out of hatred but necessity, and who years later found each other again, stronger, more whole, more aligned. The shadow of rejection is often the guardian of the sacred. The mystic Khalil Gibran once wrote, "The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain." In the same way, rejection and delay carve out the hollow places that later can hold greater love. If she stands through the shadows, if she remains steady when others falter, then she becomes his eternal light, not because she avoided rejection, but because she endured it. And what is beyond the shadow, beyond rejection and delay, lies the revelation of the divine blueprint of union. For love is not an accident, nor a random meeting of hearts. It is written a script older than memory, inscribed in the very fabric of the soul. Each union has its blueprint, as a temple has its design, as a star follows its orbit. The challenge is not to create it, but to uncover it, to live into it with awareness. The blueprint is revealed not in dramatic gestures, but in presence. When two souls align with their truth, their presence becomes the sanctuary. No need for endless promises, no need for glittering crowns. The union is inscribed in how silence between them feels like music, how even storms become bearable when faced together. The divine blueprint is not about possession, but about resonance, not about demand, but about recognition. A Zen teacher once told of two travelers who came to a bridge. One tried to carry the bridge with him, fearing it might vanish. The other simply stepped onto it, trusting it would hold. The master said, "Union is not the bridge you carry in fear, but the bridge that carries you in trust." To live the divine blueprint is to step onto the bridge of presence, not clutching, not fearing, trusting that destiny has carved the path. We see this blueprint revealed in nature. The bees find the flowers not by accident, but through invisible signals of fragrance. The rivers flow into the ocean not by force, but by design of gravity. The stars wheel in the sky not by chaos, but by ancient order. So too, when two souls are meant, their blueprint will reveal itself through timing, presence, and words whispered at the right moment. It may be a simple word like, "I still choose you," spoken when all else is lost. It may be the silence of sitting side by side. No explanations, no defenses, only presence. These small sacred gestures reveal the blueprint more than any grand declaration. For when the final veil lifts, it is not the crowns, nor the wealth, nor the power that matter, but the union of two beings who recognize each other beyond form, beyond circumstance, beyond time. The philosopher Plotinus once wrote, "When the soul sees beauty, it remembers." The blueprint is this remembrance, a knowing that cannot be explained, a recognition beyond reason. To follow it requires faith, patience, and presence. And so the scroll continues. Rejection is not the end, delay is not denial. They are shadows through which the blueprint prepares itself. The soul that trusts this process, that does not despair in the fire, emerges ready for the temple of union. Imagine a mountain being carved by wind and rain. To the stone, it may feel like rejection, like endless assault. Yet in time, a valley is formed, a river flows, life flourishes. The carving was never destruction, but creation. So too, the carving of rejection and delay reveals the valley where union can dwell. The scroll closes with a whisper from an ancient sage: "What is written for you will arrive in silence, not with a trumpet." And when it arrives, you will know, for the soul remembers what the mind forgets. Thus the path is revealed. Endure the shadows, trust the timing, step into presence. For beyond rejection lies refinement, beyond delay lies alignment, and beyond all storms lies the divine blueprint of love. Eternal, unshaken, already written. And so, if I, Elon Musk, go broke, will my wife still stand by me? The scrolls of wisdom answer. If her heart was guided by fate and not fortune, then yes, her presence will be the empire no collapse can steal. Remember this: the 9th to 12th, soften, forgive, heal. The 17th, shadows test, hold steady. The 21st, reunion, destiny's gates open. Love is not chance. It is alignment with sacred windows of time, with the eternal blueprint written before birth. I close the scroll now, sit in silence. Feel the rivers of destiny beneath your feet, the wind of divine timing upon your face. And when love calls, walk not in fear, but in faith.